Hello, in this video I'll explain how to assemble my 3D printable disk detainer lock. So first of all you need to decide which key you're going to use. You can either use one of the predefined keys or go to the Onshape website and generate your own key. Basically the disks are marked between A and E. So you have disk A, B, C, D and E. You also have a zero disk, which is the tensioning disk, that you need to put as the first one. You can see that all the disks are marked here with the type of disk. So this, for example, is the zero disk and this is the A disk. So for this assembly I will be using the B, A, E, C, D key, which features all the types of disks. But first thing first, let's take the sleeve and insert the spring. So I built this to be 3D printed, but I wanted to keep the concept of Abloy Classic disk detainer lock. And it uses a spring that biases the sidebar towards the body of the lock. So I used the same design and therefore you need a small spring. So since I have an abundance of multi-lock springs, my design uses one multi-lock 4mm spring, but I guess you can put any spring from like a regular lock in this hole. It's not really restricted. So let's put the spring in the hole here. And I'll press it down with the sidebar. So as you can see now, it will be spring loaded once I load all the disks, but you can see that it's spring loaded now. So let's start by placing the disk based on the key that I printed. So the first thing we want to do is put the zero disk. So this is the zero disk. And after each disk we will put a spacer, just like in the regular lock. The spacer has two sides, a flat side for better 3D printing, and the side with these little notches that actually do the spacing. Just remember that you want to put the disk with the letter or the number facing up towards the start of the keyway. So now we will need the B disk, which is this one. And the spacer. Then the A disk. And the spacer. The E disk. Spacer. C. And finally D. Now at the end you want to add another spacer and the front plate, which has no notch in it, it's just to align the key and to be free spinning. At this point it's important that you'll see that the front plate is flush with this printed sleeve. If it's not flush, you have three options of spacers in the files. A small, a medium and the large one. So if you see that it's too high, you will need to print the smaller spacers. If you see it's too low, you will need to print the higher spaces. As you can see, I already tested this design, and I have 5 small spacers and 1 thick spacer. Okay, I think we can test the key now. So after printing all of this, I had to sandpaper all the little notches and all the little residue of the filament, because the tolerances here are pretty good, and you want things to be exact. So I have the key in, and as you can see, I hope you can see, all the discs align. Let's insert the spacebar, and you can see I can press it in once the key is rotated. When I rotate the key back, the sidebar pops out. Now this is the body, and you have the keyway here, so we can just insert this. You can see the notch for the sidebar, so I insert this like that, and I really wanted to make something that is 3D printable and is not too complex to keep everything together. And I remember that one clip that no one knows how to remove, so I wanted to do a clip with that style. So I came up with this, and you can see there is a hole here and a similar hole there. They're the same, so it's not important. Basically stick this in, and then stick this in the other side, and it clips on. Now you can test the lock. So if you insert the key not all the way in, you can see you cannot turn. But if you insert the key all the way in, the sidebar has a place to retract, and you can see that it spins. Thank you for watching.